So when you are being timeless, experiences that you had a long time ago appear very close to you. And sometimes experiences that happened just moments ago seem very far away. Now, if you take this through to its logical conclusion, you can say that the day you were born happened a second ago. Born again every moment, as the saying goes. Yes, as fresh as the day you were born. Now, that is a way to live. That is a state of being that you can live in. You can actually live your whole life like this, yeah? Which means you're living with wonder. You're living with awe. You're living in a mysterious way, in direct contact with the mysterious. You're being playful. You're being open. You're being joyous. You're being pure. You're being natural, yeah? All of these qualities come with living a life as if you were born yesterday. Now, the other side of this is that you are going to die right now, yeah? Dying to the moment. Dying to the present moment. Now, as you get older, you will notice at some point when you're old and grey and you're sitting on your front porch in your rocking chair, you'll sit back and you think, where did it all go? You hear old people say this all the time. Where did it all go? It seems like it's disappeared. My whole life has disappeared. That is dying to the moment. It's something that happens naturally. It's actually something that happens to every single human being. You die to the moment anytime your whole life disappears, which happens anytime you become present with what's happening right in front of your face. You will notice. But these two things of saying, my death is right there. It could come at any moment. And how does that change my perspective of life? How does that change my understanding of my relationship to how I treat other people? Knowing that you're going to die can change a lot. Would you really get worried about the traffic if you knew you were going to die tomorrow? Would you really say that nasty thing to that person? Would you really say no to that person asking you to be in their project if you knew you were going to die quite soon? Would you really have been so hard on yourself, lived with so much regret, lived with so much frustration if you had known you were going to actually die very soon? Yeah, this is a very different way to live. Now, the way we practice this is by bringing these experiences of birth and death into the present moment. And we can do intermediary experiences by having moments in life that were very pleasurable, very beautiful, as if they happened yesterday. We bring them into the present moment. We bring this into where you are. Now, there is this funny thing, I can hear this thing of saying, well, what is the present moment? And we hear this debate again and again. What is the present moment? Can't you just be present? The past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist. Now, there's a problem with this, which is that the past exists when you experience it in the present moment. Yes? When you experience the past, you're experiencing it right now. When you experience the future, you're experiencing it right now. Whatever you imagine it to be, whatever you think it might be, whatever you visualize it as, whether it comes to be or not in a physical way, in an empirical way, then you're experiencing it in this present moment. You literally, it is literally impossible not to be in the present moment. It is impossible not to be right here, right now. And in that way, a lot of what Eckhart Tolle teaches is a sham. Yes? And a lot of the spiritual teachers, there's something a little bit devious about their teachings, because they're selling you something that you already have. They're giving you something that doesn't exist, or they're taking away something that doesn't exist, and they're giving you something that you already have. Yes? So this trick of being timeless, well, it changes everything, to sort of open this up a bit more in a practical sense. When you have a appointment to get to, or you have a calendar date that you have to write on, or you have a moment where you look at the clock and you go, that's the time, or you have an alarm that goes off. All of these experiences are you connecting with your sense of time. And you can develop this into a sense of timelessness. You can see that that small little appointment that you have to get to, that deadline, exists within the grand ancient cosmos that we live in. Yeah, time is eternal. This universe is eternal. And you can touch that. You can sense that. You can sense how your whole life, everything you will ever experience, will be over in the blink of an eye. Just like when you got to be at the cafe at 8:25 a.m. to make coffees for the little old ladies is a deadline that is just here right now in this moment. Now, as it happens, that's exactly what I'm doing today. In fact, the time right now is 8:33, and I'm going to be doing volunteer work, unpaid work, at the social enterprise of the Sycamore Tree Cafe in Heidelberg, Melbourne, Australia. So I have a course on time travel where I talk about being timeless, and I'm going to talk about this more on this channel. This is going to be an ongoing conversation that we discuss, because being timeless is one of those things that we learn as a lifetime practice, just like the lifetime burn meditation, yeah? Really, the lifetime burn and being timeless is the same thing. When you become timeless, you burn off this thing of being caught up in tasks and duties. You get caught up in time, yeah? You're at the mercy of time. And when you burn that, you become timeless. It's when you remember, like, yeah, I've got to live out the rest of this year, and I don't really know how I'm going to finish school, and there's all sorts of bills and pressures and problems that I have. But really, I got the chance to have some time here in this life at all, which is the miracle. The miracle that I had any time at all is enough to be grateful, eternally grateful. And along with that great gratitude comes love, comes peace, comes, relaxing, like letting go of, yeah, I messed up. I messed up my whole life. I found myself into a terrible position, but I really can't do anything but relax and laugh at it. Yeah, I messed up. Yeah, I messed up. And what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? Well, how you go about doing something about it really depends on how much time you have. Yeah? Because the other side of this is the very real sense that your body, your physical body, will not live forever. How long are you going to live? Until you're 60 years old? Until you're 70 years old? Can you imagine being 80 years old? Can you really imagine what your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual experience of life will be when you're 80 years old? And you notice now immediately what's happening. You're imagining what it's like to be that age. And that skill is just the same as the visualization skill of imagining you're on the beach, which is a non-location experience, which is what we were talking about in the previous video, which is related to being timeless. So being timeless is very much a sense of understanding your experience in a very intimate way. And there is the existential truth that you are eternal and you are timeless. And there is the very real physical reality that your body will not live forever. And you have a finite amount of time here on this planet. You can't really do all of these things forever. It's not going to last forever. It's precious. My opportunity to go and work at this cafe, I want to be having a sense that this is precious. It's not going to last forever. How can I do this day making coffees for the little old ladies while being in touch with the preciousness of life? And that's really up to my ability to visualize, my ability to sense with awareness, my ability to live in love, to live with a burning passion. Please do subscribe. We are going to continue this conversation. This is a very big conversation that we will have. We will be reviewing this idea again and again from multiple different angles. You can always do the online course on time travel, lucid dreaming, and non-location experiencing. I'll be back very soon with the next episode. Talk to you soon.